What's going on, everybody? It's McPoon Football here, and we got a banger of a video today, all right? We're going to be doing the NFL 2023 playoff bracket. And I know you guys have seen a lot of these, but I can see the future, all right? I know every team that's going to move on. I know I am going to get this bracket 100% correct. So if you want to see who's going to win the Super Bowl this year, make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video. And if you like the content, make sure to give a comment, a like, subscribe if you like everything I do some Madden franchises. But without further ado, let's get into it. So we're going to start over here in the AFC. And the first matchup we're going to do is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. So this game, it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be probably the most exciting game of this wild card round on either side, on either conference, because it's two young, talented quarterbacks and two pretty porous defenses, right? There's something to be said there. We haven't really seen the Chargers defense at full strength for much of this year, and that edge rush duo they have with Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa still has the potential to be like the most dominant edge rush duo we've seen in like our generation. You know, like that tandem could be generationally good. But as of what we have seen so far, the Chargers defense has not lived up to expectations. They have star power, but they're really squishy up the middle and allowing, ground games to really dominate them and dominate time of possession and keep Justin Herbert off the field. On the other hand, the Jaguars defense, I don't think anybody expected it to be ready yet. It's not. Their D-line was playing real good. I mean, their entire defense was playing real good against the Titans, but that's Josh Dobbs, and you don't know how much you can really translate that into the wild card round of the playoffs where you're playing a real team like the Chargers, a real good offense, right? Their D-line is all right. Like, it's pretty good. And Tyson Campbell has been balling out, so they definitely have pieces too. But neither of these defenses are really top-end units. And both these offenses kind of are. Like, when they're on, they can score with anybody, either of these teams. So it's going to be real exciting. Obviously, the big narrative here is going to be Trevor Lawrence versus Justin Herbert. I think it's going to be a lot more of a complex game than that. Personally, I think Trevor Lawrence right now, this is going to be a hot take. I think I would rather have him than Justin Herbert. I think he's a little bit better right now, and I think his ceiling is a lot higher. But that's to each their own. That's not really important. I think what's going to be really important in this game is going to be the edge rush duo of the Chargers versus Doug Peterson, the coach, and allowing and if Doug Peterson allows Trevor to really get the ball out quickly, forces Trevor to get the ball out quickly in the RPO game, in the screen game, and gets to implement a dominant run game with Travis Etienne, then I think the Jaguars are going to take this. So I actually do have faith in Doug Peterson. I am going to go with the Jaguars. I think that Travis Etienne is going to have a good game. He's going to run for 100 yards. I think screens are going to, like, receiver screens and tight end screens are going to get really involved, and it's going to work. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be close. I think both offenses are really going to get it going, but ultimately I see the Jaguars prevailing here. So moving on to our second matchup in the AFC. We have the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals, right? And as of right now, it's really looking like Lamar Jackson's going to play. Obviously, it's a playoff game. Like, he's going to want to play. Hopefully he can be at 100%. It's looking like he should be fine though, which obviously makes this game a lot tighter and a lot better. But in my eyes, the Cincinnati Bengals are just a way more complete team right now. They got it all, outside of one tackle spot, because Lael Collins unfortunately went down for the season with an ACL. Outside of their right tackle spot, every single position on this team is good. Like, it's filled. It's good. They have a bit of a weakness at corner. Not that the Ravens can really exploit that with their receivers. And the Bengals have a top tier run defense, right? Their edges are great at stopping the run. Their defensive tackle, who they got from Houston, I'm forgetting his name, but he's awesome. He's great. He's one of the premier defensive tackles in the league. And the Bengals run defense, it just, obviously what do the Ravens want to do? Like, they want to run the ball with Lamar or with J.K. Dobbins or with Gus Edwards. They want to run the ball, right? And the Bengals are going to make that really, really tough for them. Furthermore, so now you find the Ravens, right, at a disadvantage schematically, right? It's unfortunate, but it's true. So do you trust then Greg Roman to innovate and beat Lou Anarumo? Is that what you do? Because Lou Anarumo has been great this year. He's been awesome. Not even this year, he's been great since he's had this defensive coordinator position. So do you really trust Greg Roman to then outwit Lou, considering that they are already at a disadvantage? I don't. I think because it's a divisional game, they play in the same division. It's a wild card game, but they play in the same division, and they're obviously familiar opponents. I think it's going to be scrappy. I think it's going to be rather low scoring. But I like the Bengals here pretty convincingly. Joe Burrow is the better quarterback. Their offense is better, and their defense might be better. I like the Bengals here to win by a touchdown or so. Now, lastly, we have the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills, right? And so obviously it's kind of up in the air right now whether or not Tua is going to play, or even if Teddy Bridgewater is going to play. And obviously if the Miami Dolphins are led by Skylar Thompson, they're going to go into Buffalo. Buffalo is upset they didn't get the bye week, but if they have to face a Skylar Thompson led Dolphins, they might as well have had a bye week. But we're going to assume that Tua is playing and he's good to go and he's ready. In that case, his game then becomes a fairly good game. Again, it's a divisional opponent, so whenever you have that, you have scrappy games, and they tend to be close, right? And they're obviously familiar opponents in that way. The thing is, the Dolphins are probably going to be, with Tua, they're probably going to be able to exploit a weak Bills secondary. And Mike McDaniel, he's going to be able to manufacture offense with those playmakers. He is, right? The Dolphins will score on Buffalo. The thing that makes me really trust Buffalo in this matchup either way is that they are at home. I don't know if the Dolphins really can handle the tough elements of Buffalo. Furthermore, I think Buffalo is the better, more complete team with a much better quarterback. I think the Bills are going to come in here and they're going to take care of business. It's not a crazy take. That's what everyone's saying. But I don't think this game will be necessarily that close even with Tua. I foresee back and forth till midway through the third. And then all of a sudden, the Bills pull away with it and win fairly convincingly at the end. That's what I see for this game. So to recap, that would then have the Chiefs playing the Jaguars and the Bengals playing the Bills. So we're going to move on to the first round of the NFC now, actually. And we got the Eagles on the bye, obviously as a 1 seed. And we're going to start at the bottom here. We got the Niners. We got the Seahawks at the Niners. All right. For me, this is my lock, absolute lock of this first round here. The Niners will handle the Seahawks. The Seahawks have been fun this year. They've been competitive and they are a good team, right? They are a playoff team. But the Niners are kind of just cut a different cloth. They are above the Seahawks by a long shot. These NFC teams really are weak. All of these teams are weak. All 5 of these teams from Dallas down to Seattle is probably worse than every single AFC team barring the Dolphins and potentially the Jaguars, right? So that's interesting. But the Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers are legit teams. Brock Purdy has been balling out. It's fun. fun to watch. And we've already seen the Niners come and take care of business twice against the Seahawks this year. I trust Kyle Shanahan will have an awesome scheme, an awesome game plan for this game. I trust the defense to suffocate Geno Smith again with that pressure. Charles Cross could not handle Nick Bosa in the last matchup. And I just trust the more complete, better coached, better team to win by a lot. I don't think this is going to be a close game at all. I think the Niners are going to very, very comfortably move on. And that's fun. That's fun. I like the Niners. I like to see them succeed. So that's fun. Now, we got the Giants at Minnesota, right? And this is also going to be one of those games. It's going to be a pretty good game. We saw this recently, 2 or 3 weeks back. And Minnesota actually did win on a game-ending field goal. And that was a fun, exciting game, right? We had a clutch drive by the Giants, then a clutch drive by the Vikings, and then they win. It was fun. And these teams are pretty evenly matched. I know a lot of people are kind of coming around to that now, right? Because a lot of people are losing a lot the faith that they did have in the Vikings, and they're starting to, for the first time, truly believe that this Giants team is pretty good. And at the very least, that's kind of how I feel about this whole thing, right? I never really had faith in the Giants, but now that they're here, and I love their coach, Brian Daboll, he's awesome. Like, now that they're here and they've really had a whole season's body of work to prove that they have a model of winning, like, yeah, I believe it. They might not have the most talented team, right? But their quarterback, Daniel Jones, he's been playing pretty good, right? So you got a pretty good quarterback, an elite running back, an elite left tackle, you know? You got a really good defensive line with an elite defensive tackle. Like, there are pieces here. There are pieces on this team at important positions that play well. They consistently play well. The Vikings, on the other hand, don't get me wrong. They're built in a much similar way, I would say. They have very good pieces at very important positions, right? They have Kirk, who's been playing great, really. An elite receiver in Justin Jefferson. 2 elite edge rushers, maybe not elite, but 2 great edge rushers, right? Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter, right? Patrick Peterson's been playing awesome. So they got something good going. These new coaches are working, and they have really made these 2 teams a lot better. But for me, the defense of the Vikings has been horrible, right? The difference in this game really might come down to, you got Wink Martindale if you're the Giants, and whoever these Vikings got running this cover 4, like, very soft system, it's just not working for them. It's just not. I think Saquon is going to be able to have a really productive game on the ground. And I think Daniel Jones is going to be able to take what he sees and move the football decently well. Not that they're going to, blow the roof out. It's the Giants offense. That's not what they do. But they play good defense. They take care of the football now, which is weird, but Daniel Jones does. And they just squeak out a win. The Vikings like to squeak out wins too. But I don't think it's going to happen this time. I don't really see them matching up that well against the Giants. Justin Jefferson will probably have a big game, right? Kirk will probably throw for a good amount of yards. But I think I'm just going with the better defense and the better coach, even though the Vikings coach, Kevin O'Connell, is quite good. He's proving to be quite good. Brian Daboll is just that guy. He's battle tested. He's been here. I got faith. I got faith in the Giants, man. I got faith in the Giants. Moving on, we got the Dallas Cowboys at Tampa Bay. And this is one of those games, maybe the game, that kind of nobody knows what to do with, man, because you have no idea what you're getting out of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on any given week. You just don't. And you would love to sit here and say, no, it's Tom Brady in the playoffs. But you've been saying that. You've been saying that all year. No, it's Tom Brady who's at risk of missing the playoffs. And then they'll go out and they'll play like ass. But then the next week, for no reason, against an opponent that isn't really that good, or against or in a game that doesn't matter, the ball out all of a sudden, right? And it's weird. They seem to be heating up now, but how much can you trust that? How many peaks and valleys have they gone through this season? I don't know. I don't know. As much as I want to trust Tom to be Tom, and this Bucs team to be this Bucs team that just won a Super Bowl 2 years back, I don't know if I can. I don't know what I'm getting from them on Saturday or Sunday or whenever this game's being played. And the same could be said for Dallas, right? Particularly their defense. Their defense was an elite top-end unit for the first 10 weeks of the year. Micah Parsons was going crazy. He still is. DeMarcus Lawrence was playing well. Trayvon Diggs was locked down. And the unit was just gelling and working awesomely. And then all of a sudden, they've had this collapse. They've been giving up a lot of points, Dallas has. And it's weird to me because they have the talent, they have the defensive coordinator, and it was working. And I don't know what went wrong. Furthermore, the Dallas offense, I don't know, you don't know what you're getting from Dak, man. Dak kind of blows sometimes, right? And some people consider him like a top 10 quarterback. I don't. But when he's on, I can see how you could arrive somewhere near that conclusion. I understand it. When he's on, he's a very methodical passer, an accurate passer, and he will move the ball and he'll move an offense, right? But when he's off, as we've seen these last few weeks, he will just throw picks and picks and picks. I don't think we're going to get a bad Dak this week. I think we're going to get a good Dak. But I'm not convinced a good Dak is anything more than a top 16 quarterback. I think he's Derek Carr, you know? He's a game manager. He has no clutch about him. And he's too timid on third down. He's very, very timid quarterback. All that said, this Dallas team is better, though. It is better, no matter how you cut it. But is a timid quarterback going to go up against this Buccaneers defense and be able to perform well? No. That's the answer, no. So what it comes down to then is Tom Brady on today, right? If he's on, I like the Bucs, right? Is Mike Evans on today? Can he burn Trayvon Diggs? I don't know. Is Chris Godwin at 100% yet? You know? I don't know. Furthermore, is the Dallas defense off today, right? Because if they're off, I mean, I don't know. Does it even matter if the Bucs defense is on? They've been giving up a lot of points when they're off, you know? I don't know. As much as I don't know if I should do this or want to do it, I am going to trust Tom Brady, though. And I'm not a Cowboys hater. I think they're a good team. I think if they matched up against the Giants or the Vikings or the Seahawks, they would easily be moving on. I think they could have had success in this postseason, but I think they had a tough matchup. I think they're going to have a tough matchup. I think Tom Brady's going to go, and this is a better quarterback is going to prevail. So, yeah. And I'll put the Eagles in. I think they'll defeat the bye week here. I think they'll do that. So, we are going to move back over to the AFC. And now we got the divisional matchup, right? We got the the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Excuse me. So, this game to me reminds me a lot of the AFC championship game last year, right? Where the Bengals defeated the Chiefs. The Bengals, the Cinderella team, with this new quarterback setting the league on fire, number 1 overall pick, top talent. He started to figure it out. He elevated what was around him, and he was able to take down the Chiefs. It reminds me of that. It does. Do I think this Jaguars team is as good as that Bengals team last year, though? No, right? Because they don't have a Jamar Chase. They don't even have a T. Higgins. they might not even have a Tyler Boyd, right? They don't have a Joe Mixon, right? Like, sure, their offensive line is marginally better, but everything surrounding Trevor is a lot less than what Joe had last year. Defensively, too, it's just not that good of a unit. It's just not. Meanwhile, the Bengals defense did play well last year. It did, and it's even continued to grow this year, and it's playing a lot better this year, but played well last year. Yeah, I when I first considered it on such a surface level, I was like, oh my God, maybe the Jaguars could win, right? Maybe they could do the same thing that the Bengals did to it. But nah, I just don't think this Jaguars team is anywhere close to competing with the juggernaut like the Chiefs yet. I am going to take the Chiefs here. You know, you run into Patrick Mahomes, man, the best quarterback in the league, maybe the best talent at quarterback we've ever seen. You run into him, right, who, you know, off a bye, rested. Run into Andy Reid and a decent defense. You know, I don't know, man. We all know what the Chiefs are about. They're an awesome football team that nobody ever wants to run into the playoffs. I think this game could end up being kind of close, though. I don't know. One thing to watch is if the Chiefs let the Jacksonville Jaguars get up early, that could really be scary for them. If they smell blood in the water, the Jags, and they are able to just sit on that lead with a decent run game and the RPOs and everything they like to do, then that things could get scary for the Chiefs. But even so, we've seen them come down from 24-0 against the Houston Texans with Deshaun Watson, right? Like, we've seen them overcome even that. I don't know. This team is just amazing, man. And as much as I like the Jaguars, I love Trevor Lawrence, and I just think they're an exciting team. I just cannot see them getting past the Chiefs this year. So, oh, and also it's interesting to note, the Chargers versus the Chiefs, I think there would, if the Chargers were to beat the Jaguars, I would actually be inclined to believe that would be a much closer, more like a 50-50 game, honestly. I would probably still go Chiefs, but just something to note. And so now we have the Cincinnati Bengals in Buffalo against the Buffalo Bills, right? And earlier in the year, you would have said that the Bills were a juggernaut too, just like the KC Chiefs were. But now I think the Bengals might be more of a juggernaut than the Bills are, right? The Bengals are really, really, really damn good. Joe Burrow is right now a better quarterback than Josh Allen, right? Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, call that a push? But then you got T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, right? Who do the Bills have? Gabe Davis, he's been extraordinarily average this year. Isaiah McKenzie is a gadget guy, you know? The weapons and the offensive line and the running back of the Cincinnati Bengals are better. Okay. Defensively, with Von Miller and Micah Hyde, yeah, the Bills' defense is better, right? It's more clutch. It's more big play worthy, more turnover worthy, you know? But without them, I think it's probably a push, you know? You got a really complete unit on defense for the Bengals. A great unit. But the Bills got guys, and those guys have been playing together for a long time now. You know, Matt Milano is awesome. One of the premier linebackers in the league, for sure. Tremaine Edmonds has been playing well this year, which was a surprise to everybody. Ed Oliver has been balling out. Tre'Davious White hopefully can, get back to speed right for this game, because he has not been playing well. And then you got Jordan Poyer. So, yeah, I mean, the Bills' defense is star-studded, too. They just don't get that much media hype, but these players are stars on this Bills defense. So I think that's a push. I think they have a very similar defense. I think Joe Burrow is a better quarterback, and I think they have better weapons, and a better O-line, and a better running back. So I wonder then why I'm going to choose the Bills at home. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why I'm going to choose the Bills at home. Because Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Josh Allen right now. But the Josh Allen we saw in the playoff run last year was better than any quarterback in the league right now, right? He was unstoppable. He was absolutely unreal. If we get that Josh Allen, the Bills are going to be hard to stop for any team. I think we are going to see that Josh Allen. If he comes in here playing like he has the past 2-3 months, throwing 2 or 3 turnover-worthy balls a week, Bengals will take care of business easily. But if Josh Allen steps his game up, especially if he's playing a Skylar Thompson-led Miami Dolphins where he can really get his confidence and momentum going, if he steps his game up, the better quarterback will prevail. So I'm going to leave it at that. The better quarterback will prevail this game. If Josh doesn't step his game up, the better quarterback is Joe Burrow, and the Cincinnati Bengals will win. If we get the same version of Josh we saw last year in these playoffs, the Bills will prevail. I have faith that we will see that. I have faith that he'll figure it out, and that's why I'm taking the Buffalo Bills here. And now we got a rematch. KC Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills played at a neutral site. We got a rematch of the AFC Championship last year. That'll be fun. But before we get to that, we will get to the NFC. So here we got Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles all rested. Better team. Not a better quarterback, probably. I don't know. Jalen Hurts has been awesome this year, but like, I don't know. Tom Brady's Tom Brady. You know, it's such a weird thing with Tom Brady. It's like you'll never put him up on that high when you're listing, like ranking the quarterbacks 1 to 5 or whatever. He probably won't be there. But it's like when you speak of a better quarterback, you do feel inclined to say Tom Brady, but whatever, right? The Eagles, they're an awesome, amazing team. They have the best offense in the, they have the best offensive line in the league. They have a top-tier quarterback now, Jalen Hurts. They have great weapons, an awesome run game, and a good defense, right? They have 2 D-lines. They have 2 starting D-lines on that roster. You know, you could take out all the starters and just put in the backups, and that's a quality starting D-line in the NFL, which is crazy. They got 2 good corners. Their defense is good. The Buccaneers, on the other hand, their defense is also good. The offensive line is dealing with some struggles. And I guess when you think about it, these teams are kind of built in the same breath, right? The difference being that Tampa has sustained injuries and lost players at free agency, but kind of built in the same breath. You know, think about when Tampa won the Super Bowl. They had an awesome offensive line and an elite defensive line, and that's how they won it, right? By pressuring Patrick Mahomes. They're similar teams. In this game, I guess a matchup to look out for is if Jalen Hurts really can feel comfortable as a passer. Last time they played, he could not. I have faith that he will. He's a different player since then. I think the Eagles are just going to be too much for the Bucs, man. I think it's going to be a good game. Better game than many would expect. But I just think the Eagles are going to be too much. I think it'll be close, though. I think this will be close. Then we have the New York Giants playing at San Francisco, I believe, right? Yeah, they won the... Yeah. The New York Giants playing at San Francisco. This game, you know, Giants fans, it was a good run. It was a real good run for you guys. It was an awesome year. You're just not winning this. This one, no, absolutely not. And it seems San Francisco is having a pretty easy road to the championship game here, because first they take on the Seahawks and then they take on the Giants, and both those teams are just not in the same vein, cannot be talked about in the same vein as the Niners can. The Niners are a legit top-end team, top to bottom. They have awesome, amazing players everywhere, except for quarterback, where they have Brock Purdy, who's somehow decent. It's crazy. The Giants just don't have that. They just don't. I love the coaching. I might even like the coaching of the Niners more, though. You know, like, I like the running back. I might like the Niners running back more. You know, I like the quarterback. I might like the Niners quarterback more. I don't even know. But that defense of the Niners is no joke. They're going to be able to make Danny Dimes uncomfortable. They're going to be able to abuse Evan Neal, who has been getting abused in pass pro all year. And those covered linebackers, I mean, Fred Warner is just going to be all over the field. Charvarius Ward, I mean, he could probably lock up Isaiah Hodgins. You know, Isaiah Hodgins. You know, he's a 6th round draft pick 3 or 4 years ago. That's a number 1 receiver right now. You know, I think the Giants will be back. They will be in these playoffs for years to come, but it is not their year yet. They were not supposed to win, and if they were to win a playoff game, that would be a very successful year for them, and it would be awesome. But they cannot play with the San Francisco 49ers. So, here we have it. The AFC rematch of the game of the ages. We changed the overtime rules for this game because it was so fun. And we have Kansas City playing Buffalo at a neutral site. And this is going to be fun, man. It's going to be really fun. To me, well, no, I won't get into that yet. I will say this first, right? We know what happens when these two teams play each other, right? These two teams are the Brady and the Manning, right? That's the matchup. It's Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, but reincarnated through Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. Who's going to be Brady? Who's going to be Manning? We don't know yet, right? Who's going to win more? Who's going to be Brady? We don't know yet. So far, it's the Chiefs. When it counts, they've been winning. They've won. I think the Bills have something to say about that. They did in the regular season. It's going to be very fun and close. And hell, there might be 4 overtime periods. Might be. It would have been last year, you know? That game would have been 100-100. So, to me, I can't speak of any matchup between position groups or coaches or anything. We've seen what's going to happen when these guys play. And it's just going to come down to who wins it this time, you know? If they played 10 times, each team would probably win 5 times, right? So who's going to win on this day? I think it's the Bills' turn. I do. I think it's their turn to win one of these. I think they will. I think they know it's their turn. I think they're hungry for this. Very hungry for this. And with all that's been happening with Damar Hamlin, the tragic incident, it just lit a fire in Buffalo. It just lit a fire under these guys' asses. And if not for themselves, they're going to go win it for Damar Hamlin, who's probably not going to be able to play for this whole thing, this whole playoffs, right? So I just like Buffalo. I think they got more to play for. A city that needs it more, a city that wants it more. A very unfortunately injured teammate of theirs. And I just think it's going to be one of those 10 times where coin lands heads and Buffalo moves on. So, yeah. Then we got the Eagles at the 49ers, and this game will also be incredibly fun to watch. And what's interesting here is you have the best O-line in the league, the Eagles, versus the best D-line in the league with the San Fran 49ers. So, who's better? The best O-line in the league or the best D-line in the league? I don't know. I'm inclined to believe that it's the best O-line in the league, though. I think the Niners D-line will be somewhat neutralized. Not neutral. You can't neutralize Nick Bosa. It will be somewhat neutralized, though, right? And then the Eagles' defensive line, will be able to take advantage of a weaker Niners offensive line. Outside of Trent Williams, it's a pretty weak group, especially on the interior. And the Eagles have interior pass rushers, man. Javon Hargraves is a legit, like, cream of the crop interior pass rusher in the NFL. I think the Eagles are actually going to be able to have more of an impact with that defensive line than the Niners will be able to. But that's not necessarily going to tell the entire story of this game for me. It's going to be hard for both teams to move the ball, but they're both going to get it done. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be tough. It's going to be long drives, but this won't be a low-scoring game, in my opinion. It'll probably be like both teams put up around 20. Maybe that is growing into what could be considered low scoring in this NFL, but you know what I mean, right? It's not going to be 16-9 in my opinion. For me, I'm going to have to go with the Eagles here. I love the Niners, man. I'm very surprised at myself for even considering taking like the Eagles over them, because I've been high on the Niners like all year. I love the Niners. I thought coming into the season they would win the Super Bowl with Trey Lance. Either them or the Bills. But Brock Purdy, man, at the end of the day, he's a seventh. He's Mr. Irrelevant rookie. He's been throwing a lot of like ducks that really could have been picked. He's been throwing picks. He's gonna need to clean that up for sure if he wants to be the Eagles. He might by now, but even so, I just think it's the Eagles' year. Their offensive line is just too dominant. Their run game is going to be very effective no matter who they're playing. They can run on anybody. It's crazy. I don't know. This game, again, if they played 10 times, I would say the Eagles probably only win 6 of those, something like that. I don't know. But for me, I think the Eagles are a better team this year. Unfortunately, I love the Niners a lot more. I don't really care for the Eagles, but I think they're going to win. So, in that case, we have a Bills-Eagles Super Bowl, which would be awesome. Everyone's been saying this all year. This would be awesome, right? Two of the best fan bases, talking to you Eagles fans, best. Nah, I'm playing. I'm sure you guys are great. But two of the best fan bases, most passionate fan bases in the NFL, right? Oh my God. The parade for either of these games is going to be nuts, right? I mean, for either of these victories is going to be nuts. So we got the Bills at the Eagles, and who wins this game, right? The better quarterback in Josh Allen or the better overall roster in the Eagles? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if this will even be the game, except for me. I mean, no, I do know. I told you guys. I do know. If you want to stick and see who's going to win, just stick till the end. But then, by the way, I don't know if you guys see this. It makes a pretty nice design here on this bracket. Not that that's, I don't know. What am I talking about? All right, let's get back into the game, right? I think the Eagles' play in the trenches might be a little too much for Buffalo to handle. The Bills' offensive line is not good. The Eagles' defensive line is great. The Bills' defensive line is pretty good. Again, the Eagles' offensive line is great. They're going to be dominated in the trenches. The Eagles also have better weapons. Because you call A.J. Brown and Diggs a push, just as we did with the Bengals there and Jamar Chase. And then when you just look at 2 and 3 and 4, the Eagles got it. Their tight end is elite, but their quarterback is worse and inexperienced. And he has not been here before. Not that Josh has been in the Super Bowl before, but he's been in the AFC Championship game before. He's been in the playoffs before that. Jalen Hurts is not. He's been in the playoffs last year, right? And he just got pooped on by the Bucs. It's weird because everything is telling me that the Eagles would then go on to win this game, right? Like, they match up well against the Bills. But something about the Bills, they're just matchup proof in a lot of ways, right? Because if you have an elite quarterback who can just throw 70 yards down the field when you're down 10 points and score a touchdown, it's like, okay, good. it was good that you matched up well and got him down by 10, but then Josh Allen just threw a 70-yard rope to Stephon Diggs, and now they're back in it, right? Now they're just back, and it's just going to be trying to limit Josh Allen. And what's actually interesting to me, this is actually something I can really see happening, right? You have this good Eagles defensive line, right? And you have them getting pressure against the porous Bills offensive line. And you have, say, Hassan Reddick coming off the edge, right? And he gets by Deion Dawson. He comes off the edge and he hits Josh Allen. But Josh Allen doesn't go down. You know what I mean? Like, Hassan Reddick is a smaller guy and Josh Allen just doesn't go down. He spins out of it, does some crazy shit, and just doesn't go down. I can see that happening. Can you not see that happening? You know what I mean? And that's to me what I really mean. But when I say that the Bills seem matchup independent, not proof, independent, right? Because, yeah, in that case, the Eagles defensive line, they won. They beat the offensive line and they got to the quarterback. But Josh Allen is just going to come down to, will then Josh Allen break it or not? And he often will, especially against smaller guys. So they're almost matchup independent, because in any way that the Eagles can win on paper, Josh Allen can probably mitigate, you know? And on any way that the Eagles can offensively win on paper, it's like you do have playmakers and stars on the Buffalo defense. You got Greg Rousseau, who had 8 sacks this year with time off. He's on track to get 10 or 11 if he played the whole season. You got Matt Milano, one of the premier linebackers in the league. Trey White, by this late in the season, by February, he'd probably be playing like a top cornerback again. And then you got Jordan Poyer. But it's interesting, though. I could also just see, like, A.J. Brown going up on Trey White and just catching a bomb and just scoring. I don't know. For me, maybe I'm being a homer, but I'm going to go Bills. It just feels like it's their year, man. It just feels like it's the Bills' year to win. They've dealt with a lot of adversity this year. They've had a lot of injuries. They've lost they've lost games against bad opponents. Josh Allen has had rough stretches, and obviously the Damar Hamlin situation. And Super Bowl teams are the teams that have had to handle that adversity. Those are the teams that win it. They're the ones who've built this narrative for themselves and then are able to encapsulate that and get the momentum and the fire. And so for me, the Buffalo Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year. Not for me. This is what's going to happen. This is why the Buffalo Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. I brought you through all the games. I hope you can agree. The Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. That's it for me. I said what I got to say. I got everything out. I want to know what you think. Down in the comments below, let me know. I will reply to every comment. Let me know who is going to win the Super Bowl in your opinion. I'm just telling you you're wrong if you don't have the Bills. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what I did good in this video, what I did bad. Let me know who which game you disagree with. If your bracket is different, if your bracket's the same, just let me know. I love to hear what you guys think. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. There's tons of content like this coming for the whole playoffs. It's going to be fun. And yeah, take care, guys. Peace out.